Go ahead and retweet this out. For all my people on YouTube, go ahead and click the notification bell because YouTube is definitely not sending out the notifications. Go ahead and click the notifications. Go ahead and like, share, comment on tonight's broadcast. Shout out to everybody up in the Twitter/X. I still got to call it Twitter, y'all. I'm just used to saying Twitter, but shout out to everybody in X/Twitter. We're going to be talking about the Boston Reparations Task Force, and we're also going to be talking about California being the first state to actually put on documentation paperwork, delineation. So we're going to be talking about that tonight. I hope you guys are ready for a convo. This is the first actual podcast/space we've done this week, so I haven't been on doing any broadcasts this week. Been busy doing some other stuff, but I wanted to go ahead and get it in tonight. So shout out. I see Freedman up in here. I see Keenan that's you. Quadrell. I see you and change your profile up. So shout out to you as well. Andre Nappy. Ain't no Leroy. Definitely guys go ahead and retweet this space out. Retweet the space out. Repost it, whatever Twitter calls it. They say retweet. Repost, I say retweet still. So you go ahead. I'm gonna jump up on the actual Boston reparation thing, and then I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna kick it to the actual shout out to Original. I see Original up in the space as well too. Shout out to my man Original. I'm gonna go ahead and kick the Boston Reparation Task Force thing, and then I'm gonna go ahead and we're gonna talk about the California delineation, the paperwork, race, ethnicity breakdown, how they're gonna go ahead and put that all aboard. So shout out to my people over there. Also on YouTube as well too. I see Be Nice over there. Boston announces reparation task force that will study impact slavery had on residents. City on trial. This is from Neo Jim Crow, one of our curation partners. It's on the actual Newstoter.com platform. It's up in the Jumbotron. For those on YouTube, it's up in the description as well too. Boston Mayor Michelle Wu announced Wednesday that the city has established teams that will play a role in the reparations task force. Who said the Boston Reparations Task Force will consist of one team of historians that will research the city of Boston's role in the transatlantic slave trade and the impact of slavery on the city. Each historian was evaluated by city staff and other members of the task force. I'm grateful to those teams of historians who will serve our city by documenting Boston's role in the transatlantic slave trade and the myriad legacies of slavery that will continue to impact the daily lives of our city's communities. She said in a statement, through their scholarship partnership with our task force, we will better understand the full picture of our city's history and look to their comprehensive report that will build on the ongoing efforts. It's like y'all already don't know exactly that Boston was knee deep up in the damn transatlantic slave trade. You don't need any study or any more documentation. It's pretty much American history. We already know this, but if we want to play games with another task force and another study, okay, fine. After examining the city's slave history and the impact on its current residents, of Boston Reparation Task Force will create a report of recommendations for reparative justice solutions to aid Black residents for the city officials to consider. In addition to researching the legacy of slavery in Boston, the task force will engage the community to discuss their lived experience. According to the task force website, the task force reportedly has a budget of $500,000 to study the issue. Boston is on trial to redress historical injustices that flow directly and indirectly from the institution of chattel slavery, and examination of the truth and the expansion of the narrative that will give us a pool from which to argue repair. Task force member L. Murchie Frazier said the Boston City Council voted to form the task force in December 2022. This is the latest attempt of a local government trying to enact reparations. Similar efforts are underway on the federal level and across the country, usually in democratically controlled states and cities like San Francisco. New York in December established a commission to explore the best methods of providing reparations to descendants of slaves. Like I say, shout out. I see DJ up in the space. Shout out to all you guys coming up in here. What's up with you? I hope y'all doing well tonight. I just got through touching up on this quick article on the Boston Reparations Task Force. Like I said, we're getting ready to cover this, the situation going on in Cali, the breakdown, they're actually charting it now where you can actually fill in, you can actually put that you're actual descendant of chattel slavery. What's up, DJ? I see you up in the space. Guys, anybody wants, before I go to the next article, if you guys want to go ahead and say something real quick, let me know. Request to come up and speak. If not, we can go ahead and we can get to the next article. What's up, DJ? How's your connection? I'll give you a second. I know it probably takes a minute for it to come in.
Yeah, this thing takes forever, man. It's like 30 seconds, 60 seconds on the daggone thing for the delay. But what's good, Newstoter fan? We back in the building. Shed a live, shed a space. You already know Newstoter.com. Go ahead.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. And like I say, you just came in. DJ was talking. I was just reading the actual article on the Boston Reparation Task Force. We're going to go ahead. We're going to cover the situation in California. And that's been a big. Those articles are up in the jumbotron as well too. We're going to be covering the actual situation going on with the actual breakdown. It says California becomes first state to break down Black employee data by ethnicity. So they got the whole thing, ethnicity, race, and everything, man. So we got to discuss that. And it's been quite a bunch of back and forth online. I seen once I posted that article early this morning. Everybody's getting their 2 cents in there. Freedman, what's up? What's up? I'm gonna let Freedman go ahead. Freedman, before I get to you, let me go ahead and touch up on this article. So then, if you want to touch up on both the Boston Reparation Task Force and California Delineation, you can go ahead and get up on that. This is from the Sacramento Observer, another one of our curation partners, guys. That's what we do. We got the curation partners putting out the content. Shout out to both Neo Jim Crow and the Sacramento Observer, a Black-owned newspaper in Sacramento, California. They in Sacramento, California. I'm in Florida, yet we connect to do this. California becomes the first state to break down Black employee data by ethnicity. As of January 1st, California became the first state in the nation to disaggregate data for its Black population by ethnic lineage, thanks to a bill authored by Assembly Member Chris Holden, Democrat, Pasadena. Holden is a member of the California Legislative Black Caucus. A California Department of Health Resource questionnaire requests newly or rehired employees to voluntarily self-identify their race, ethnicity, and gender for the state to track and evaluate equal employment opportunities and non-discriminatory employment practices more accurately. For the first time, the descendants of our ancestors, people in my family and the families of over 2 million Californians, the overwhelming majority of Black California will see our community represented and counted among the very important data our state collects, starting among current and future state employees, said Chris Logeson, a member of the Coalition for Just and Equitable CJEC. CJEC is a statewide organization comprised of various associations, community groups, and individuals united by a commitment to fight for reparations and reparative justice for descendants of enslaved Black American men and women. Applicants now have the option to check boxes under Black or African American that declare them a descendant of persons who were enslaved in the United States or not a descendant of persons who were enslaved in the United States, including African Black and Caribbean Black. They can also identify by marking descendant status as unknown, or they can choose to not identify. Holden introduced Assembly Bill AB 1604, the Upward Mobility Act, in January 2022. The legislation requires the state to break down the data of the state employees by ethnic origin. Furthermore, AB 1604, signed by Governor Gavin Newsom in September 2022, provides state workers with greater opportunity to move upward within state service through improvements in best practices and processes for hiring, recruiting, and retaining a diverse workforce. The new disaggregation mandate is designed to help spot irregularities such as disparities in income, health care outcomes, career development, and state agencies' leadership. Holden had previously pushed legislation to promote mobility for people of color in California's civil services system and require diversity on state boards and commission. Newsom vetoed AB 105 in October 2021, the legislative forerunner to AB 1604, which Holden also introduced. Newsom said in October 2021 letter that AB 105 had unintended consequences and elements of the bill conflict with existing constitutional requirements, labor agreements, and current data and collection efforts. When Holden was appointed chair of the Assembly Committee on Appropriations in January 2022 by then Assembly Speaker Anthony Redden, he introduced the legislation as AB 1604. AB 1604 resembles legislation that requires data from other racial groups. In September 2016, former Governor Jerry Brown signed AB 1726 into law, requiring the State Department of Public Health to disaggregate data it collects by ethnicity or ancestry for Native, Hawaiian, Asian, and Pacific Islander. The question of identity became front and center in state government decision-making when the California Reparations Task Force elected a lineage-based framework to determine eligibility for reparations. The 9-member panel decided that compensation should be limited to descendants of enslaved or free Black people whose ancestors were in the United States by the end of the 19th century. That narrow 5-4 task force decision overrode a model for determining eligibility that is race-based. Logerson said that he believes a lineage-based arrangement will help Black Americans self-identify with their heritage in this country on the heels of Black History Month. In August 2023, Senator Stephen Bradford introduced Senate Bill 490 that would amend Title II of the State Government Code to establish a new state agency called the California American Freedmen Affairs Agency. That agency will be responsible for managing the reparations process for Black Californians and determining eligibility under the lineage-based structure set up by the State Reparations Task Force. The first in the nation California Reparations Task Force reaffirmed the intent of the law that created it when it said descendants of persons enslaved in the U.S. will be the community eligible for reparations. Logerson said the next step will be to collect information on which Californians are within the community and set up a way for the state to help people show they're eligible. According to a May 14, 2021 Pew Research Center report, Black and Hispanic adults were more than likely than white adults to say their origins are central to their identity and that they feel a strong connection to their family's cultural roots. On January 18, 2024, the Pew released data that Black population in the U.S. has grown 32% since 2000, rising from 36.2 million then to 47.9 million in 2022. In addition, the number of people self-identifying as another race in addition to Black has increased nearly 254% since 2000. In 2022, there were 5.1 million Black immigrants in the U.S., up from 2.4 million in 2000, according to Pew's analysis of Census Bureau data. Immigrants accounted for 11% of the Black population in 2022, up from 7% in 2000. Race-based reparations would have stretched the eligibility pool for reparations to include anyone in California who identifies as Black, as opposed to Californians with a direct connection to a person who was enslaved in the United States. According to the California Department of Finance July 2023 report, just over 39 million people reside in California. The Black/African American population consists of 2,223,654 people. That's 5.64% in California, with a growing Black immigrant population across the country. Logerson said the disaggregated data being collected in California could serve as a model for the rest of the country. This historic change is a result of hard work of Black Americans, all volunteers who come from the outside of politics and yet were able to make something big happen. He said, "This is a testament to what each of us can do, just as important as anything else. As one of my colleagues recently shared, you can't fix a problem if you don't see a problem." Real quick, let me give a shout out to my man, DJ. DJ, thank you for the contribution on Cash App. Let me go ahead and get to, I see we got our people up in the space. Freedman is the first to speak on it. Freedman, what's up? What's up with you tonight? Go ahead and unmute your mic.
Peace. Respect to you, Newstoter, the host with the most, and of course, respect to our ethnicity that you pointed out so eloquently earlier. Respect to the other host, the co-host, DJ, White People Institution, all races, and respect to the rest of the Freedman family in the space. I sent out the message as far as Boston Reparations Task Force to Stilettos and to Jonathan and Team Freedman out there. I wanted them to speak on that first and foremost because they're on the ground out there. As far as the Cali delineation on race, I like it. I love it. I wish it had American Freedmen in the language, but I know by way of the wording what they mean it was to target the employment, education, and things like that, and give priority to the American freedmen. So I respect that work from the Cali freedmen. So respect to them, and yeah, that is great work, and that is what we need to be highlighting and putting at the forefront in this movement. The delineation and the disaggregation of blackness is a part of the work. It's a part of the reparations work, and we have to make ourselves a unique political class. We are American freedmen citizens, and that is a unique class of people in this country. We are the legacy founders. We are the original citizens, and we should get priority for any and everything in the country. So I really love the work that they did with that, and yeah, that should be highlighted and acknowledged and respected from any and everyone who says that they are a part of our justice claims, especially if they're advocating for justice for the American freedom. So much respect to Team Cali out there in California. California freedmen are on deck, and I respect the work that y'all doing. It's, it's sacred, if you ask me. It's sacred work. And yeah, y'all are on the front lines, and respect, respect.
All right, appreciate that, Freeman. Thank you for coming up. Thank you for coming up. I think the main thing that a lot of us are thinking at this point in time, since California was the first to actually jump out, and we see that California also with the doing the having the reparations task force is also the first to jump out on that. Is this something that's going to spread like wildfire? Is this something now that you know may become a thing nationwide that hey, when it's time to identify that you have these little boxes you can check now that it's just not simply black or African American that it's more detailed. I saw today there was a number of responses, and a lot of people were in agreement with it, thought it was a good thing. Some people say, hey, they didn't agree with it. They didn't think it was a good thing. You had people saying, if it's a white person, they just all consider them white and this and that or whatever. So you had so many different talking points on the situation as well too. I heard some people say, hey, it's good. So when black Americans do something and they can go ahead and get blamed for it and we don't have to get blamed for it. So I heard a number of different talking points going forth today. Like I say, some people were in agreement with it. I'll say a lot of people that actually responded to the actual post because the post has something like it's about 16,000 views. So a lot of people that responded, they thought it was a good thing. They thought it was, hey, especially a lot of our people think, hey, when we're talking about reparations, this thing needs to be fine-tuned as much as possible. It needs to be focused on one particular group of people and not everybody that shares a skin tone. So that was the talking point from a lot of people today. And I'm glad that we got a bunch of people up in the space so we can hear what people have to say about it. And I hope you guys come on up here and not only talk about this, but the actual Boston reparation. Like you say, I hope Stilettos, if she gets a chance to come up in here, she can share with it because we know that the sister is on the actual ground. She's doing work. Shout out to the Freedmen over there in California as well too. They're doing work as well too. The article actually mentioned that as well too. They're putting it out there. They're trying to get it as much as possible. They're trying to have it specifically, like I said, on the descendants of chattel slavery. And I don't think it's a bad thing because you have a lot of different groups that's just not what we classify as black. A lot of other groups are saying, you know what, well, we're Asian and we need to specify exactly what it was. I think we covered that a while ago in one of the spaces too. You got so many groups. You got groups from the Middle East say, you know what, we don't want to be just listed as this right here. We need to specify exactly. There are going to be a number. There are going to be a number of different options coming out in the future where people can specify exactly what they are. So, I definitely want to hear what it is tonight. Let me give a shout out. I see Original up here. I'm going to get to you, Freeman. Let me go ahead and let Original speak, and then I got you. And anybody else that wants to speak as well, guys, come up here. But definitely go ahead. We up in the space. This is the first Newstoter space of the week. So definitely go ahead and retweet the space out so we can get more of our people to come up in here and share their thoughts as well. What's up with you tonight, Original?
lineage-based reparation and delineation. First I want to ask you. Now, we're listening when you read the issue on the Boston reparation, but you said black citizens, but you read black citizens, and then you said something of descendants of chattel slavery. Do you know how their messaging is worded in Boston? And are they pulling anything from taking any points from how California has worded theirs?
Now, of course, original, they're talking about focusing on the legacy of the transatlantic slave trade. Now, we know sometimes when it'll start off with the transatlantic slave trade, and then it'll become the legacy of slavery as well, too. So that's something that you have to kind of watch out as well, too, because we know how wide the legacy of slavery is. After slavery, the legacy of what went on after slavery, you can fill it up to the day. So I think you're right about that. Like I say, it's talking about the transatlantic slave trade and the actual role that Boston took, that took a hand in it, but it's also talking about the legacy as well too. And we know when we talk about legacy is something that goes on and on and on and on and on. The legacy ain't one generation.
Right, and that's my point, because that's when you get these other people that try to wedge their way into what we're doing, just like what you said about what's going on in California, and now how it will spread with other demographics, because we are the trendsetters, and a lot of these foreign black people, they laughed at us when we were pushing for reparation. They said, y'all ain't gonna get it. And then when California made it lineage-based, then all of a sudden they started becoming black, and they wanted a check. But no, this is not about you. You do not speak for us. We don't get into your business, and you need to stay up out of our business. I mean, that's how they work. But it's unfortunate that we got these Democratic shields and others. That's why it's important that whenever we can, we need to push back against them as much as possible, especially with this election coming up in November, and let them know, no, your days are done whereby you think you can take our vote and do what you want with it, and you can and you want to include everybody with what we get, because that's why I just told somebody at work the other day, do not call me a minority. I said, well, where does a minority come from? Show me the landmass on this planet where a minority come from. It doesn't exist. So I don't rock with that. And I think it's great that California has decided to, with this delineation of who we are, once again, because you have a lot of these people, they go out here, they commit all kind of crimes and everything else, and then they just label themselves as just being black when they commit crime. But when they do something positive, they want to wave whatever flag where they say they're from, because they want to delineate from us. But they've always done that. They would let us know that they're not black. I'm not black, I'm whatever. Okay, now you got your wish. Abracadabra, you got your wish. So we've separated from you. Now, I don't have an issue, working in concert with some of these people who would like to be an ally. I don't take issue with that. But it's those who continually want to take advantage of us and the things that we have fought for ourselves. And I think that's what they're scared of, because they know where we're going with this. We are going to fight for whatever we need for ourselves. Now if they want to have a coalition or something like that, not a problem. But for the main part, we are fighting for ourselves, and they're gonna have to fight. They're gonna have to fight for themselves, because they keep bringing them over here, and they want to try and outnumber us. because they've already been brainwashed by white people before they get here. And then they come here, they get these attitudes towards us. So I just want to say kudos to California. And I guess we'll have to have our people in Boston to keep an eye out on the language that they're using regarding reparations. But this is not for people who came here in the 1960s. Oh, you think you deserve a check? No, that's not what this is for. And I'll land with that.
All right. Thank you, Original. I appreciate that. I'll probably ask you a question after I get the Freedman Original, so hang around. But and anybody else up in the space as well, too. I see some of you guys at the bottom. Shout out to Black Majority State. I see him up in here as well, too. Anybody wants to come up here, definitely come on up here and let us hear what you got to say. Freedman, go ahead and unmute your mic.
No doubt, no doubt. I guess my thing as far as the enforcement, I want to know if they would, if someone tries to impersonate an American freedman in California and they're not an American freedman, I would probably want a demand as far as them being put in jail and in prison for 30 years. So that could be a consequence for trying to reap the benefits of being an American freedman. That type of punishment would be really good as far as the delineation, because we always know that whenever we get something going, everybody wants to be included. They expect us to include everybody in everything that we do, while we be excluded from any and everything in the world and in society. So that would just be a suggestion for me, the enforcement and the application part, because that's what a lot of this is all about. We already have laws in place. Our issue has always been, I'll say, the enforcement and the application, and to the exclusive benefit of the American freedmen. That's my suggestion. Give them 100 years in jail and in prison if you even try to impersonate being an American freedman. That should be a consequence, in my opinion. That's just my suggestion. As far as the Boston Reparations Task Force, I would like to know more about that. I know the Boston team, Massachusetts Freedmen, they've been doing some work. They have an American Freedmen Commission bill, so that's good. They have that language in the actual bill, on the title of the bill, so that's just good. Respect to them. And again, respect to the Cali Freedmen out in California. But yeah, I would like to know more about that. The task force in Boston. Do we know? Is there any more specific information we can discuss?
At this point, Freeman, I'm gonna be honest. I don't really know more. I know there's a couple articles on the Newstoter site that's talking about it, but not any more in depth than what I already read tonight. I don't really know. I wish the Letos was kind of up in here so she could kind of give us a heads up exactly what's going on, on the ground in Boston. But at this point in time, they're forming a task force. They talk about it's going to be composed of historians, and so they can go ahead and they can basically, I guess, archive history and see exactly what Boston had, what hand Boston had in the actual transatlantic slave trade and everything else as well too. So at this point in time, I'm not exactly sure, because they're just pretty much setting it up, doing a task force, going to do another study, so to speak, and make their recommendations as well too. So it's going to be interesting to see. It's also interesting to see that Boston's mayor is also an Asian woman as well too. So you wonder exactly how that's going to play out. Getting back to your point that you made about people impersonating people, I thought about that as well earlier too. I said, what if you have a Rachel Dolezal, and this is not even a black person, but this is somebody that you can fill out anything on a form or whatever. You got somebody like Rachel Dolezal and say, okay, well, yeah, well, who feels that they lived the black experience, quote unquote, even though she was a white woman. Rachel went through all these extremes with with the skin and the hair and everything else, and trying to fit herself into a black culture. Now, she really, really wanted to be an ally to black people. She would have went ahead and kept her whiteness and tried to go ahead and do things from that angle. You need an ally that's actually on your side, an actual white person. If you're going to actually really help, go ahead and be the white woman that you were born to be, and kind of just drop information for us and let us know exactly what's happening. But she didn't want to do that, so I wondered about that as well too. Like you said, what happened if you get anybody, somebody comes up there and they're like, oh well, well, I'm born in this country. I feel like I'm a black person, so I'm going to check this box here. I'm going to check that box or whatever. So that's something that's very, very real right there. That's something that I don't know if they're gonna, I don't know if they would put people in prison for it, anything like that, but that is a legitimate concern right there. That you'll have people that'll go ahead and because we have it now. You have and not just so much black people. You have people of other races and stuff. They check the box for white. So especially, I could definitely see that happen. I could definitely see people saying, you know what, I'm gonna check this box right here, and you know what, even though my family wasn't quote unquote a descendant of chattel slavery in America, they were slaves in the land they came from. Or hell, you can have some people say, you know what, we all of this is the Americas. We were slaves too. So yeah, I'm gonna check the box the same as him as well too. So you're gonna I wonder how you can actually police something like that as well too. A lot of times you do have people, people of an immigrant background and they're proud of their actual heritage and stuff. So normally if they saw something like that, like, okay, yeah, I'm an African, I'm a Caribbean, I'm from Asia, Europe, or whatever, and they'll go ahead and they'll check that because normally people are normally proud of their backgrounds, but you will have that one or two individuals that say, you know what, let me just go ahead and check this for the hell of it as well too. So that's something to really keep your eye on as well too. You got it, Freeman.
Yeah, what do you think about my suggestion? 100 years in prison for trying to impersonate an American freedman and try to steal the resources and the benefits that's supposed to be exclusive to the American freedman. 100 years, bare minimum.
Well, I don't think realistically they'll put somebody in. They don't put people in jail for murking people for 100 years. So I definitely don't think that they'll go ahead and do anything like that. You got people committing all kind of heinous crimes and stuff like that and getting slaps on the wrist. So I don't think you'll have anybody. I don't think you'll have the government, anybody else that'll put people in jail or prison for 100 years. There needs to be some kind of, especially. And here's the thing, right now, since reparations are not on the table, you'll have people that may do this, do that, but as it actually draws nearer, gets closer, you have a whole lot of people that'll be doing that. So, like I said, you'll have to have some way of validating that, because anybody can sign it, can check a damn box off or put an X or a check mark there. So you have to have some kind of validation to prove that, hey, you know what, um, I don't believe what you're saying. So you go ahead and show me exactly what you're talking about. Let me see some of this. Let me see some of the lineage records in your family, because I mean, if you can't produce the records, then hey, you're just talking.
Yeah, maybe how about something more lenient, like 50 years? 50 years, maybe not 100 years, or like how when they impersonate a police officer, whatever time for that is, just triple it, and that can be the punishment and the enforcement that could deter people from trying to pretend to be us and cosplay us. 'Cause that's a major part of the problem as well. Again, those are just some suggestions. So let's say you get 10 years for impersonating a police officer, you get 30 years for impersonating an American freedman and trying to steal the benefits and take away the benefits and resources from actual American freedom. That's what I would say. My suggestion would be as far as the enforcement, you would have to show a relationship as far as the ancestors being enslaved. So Thomas Jefferson children today from his, I'll say his white wife, gotta say the H, I believe her name is Martha, they wouldn't get anything. They wouldn't get anything. So that's how we can make that.
Now you say Thomas Jefferson, his descendants wouldn't get anything. You said.
Yeah, the children he had with his white.
Oh, okay, yeah, okay. I get what you're saying now. Okay, I'm thinking, for a second, I was thinking about the actual black descendants he had.
Obviously, yeah, the one from Sally Mae's bloodline would definitely get the the benefits and the reparations. You understand? That makes more sense. You have to show and prove a connection by way of that.
Absolutely, absolutely. And I think too, like I said, and here's the thing about this that I say I believe it's going to go nationwide because you have other groups as well that's saying, you know what, we need and people when they think about the whole thing with the delineation thing, they're thinking that it's just black Americans saying, hey, we need to go ahead and do this and do that or whatever. But like I say, there are a number of groups. You got a number of Asians, you got a number of Middle Easterners, you got a number of people saying that, hey, you can't just classify all Asians up. There's a difference between, somebody from what they used to call, and I know it's an offensive term, the Orientals and the East Indians and stuff like that. They said we're not all the same people, and you're getting at it with the what is it, the Pacific Islanders and all the rest of them as well too. So it's just not specifically black people. Like I said, you got Middle Easterners and everything else. I really believe that this is going to really catch some steam throughout the rest of the nation as well too. I think you're going to have other people saying, hey, you know what, we got to do this, we got to do that. On a side note, like I said, I've seen some people saying that, hey, I don't agree with it. We're all black people. I heard people saying that, you're being prejudiced against black immigrants and stuff like that. But here, I'm from Florida, and I grew up seeing, people from Haiti, people from Jamaica, people from the Bahamas having flags in their car, proud of their heritage, proud of their Caribbean roots. I seen Puerto Ricans, with the Puerto Rican flag. I've seen a number of people, Dominicans and everything else, people with their flags and stuff like that as well too. Hell, when you see over here in the United States, you can have a fight over here in the United States, and if it's a Mexican American fighter, you'll see a bunch of Mexican flags up in there. Even though these people left Mexico, came to the United States to live, they got the Mexican flags up in there. So a lot of people are actually proud of their actual roots. We see it a lot of times. People say, look at the amount of Nigerian doctors you have, and this and that or whatever. Look how many people you have in this profession from this place. So I would think that it would be a sense of cultural pride as well too, because they still have race on there. They have black and they have African. They're breaking it down as well too. So, my thing is within a race, you have different ethnic groups. I mean, and that's always been the case. So I don't really see the pushback. I don't understand why so many people are upset about it, why they find it so divisive. Because hey, it is what it is. I mean, you have people with different backgrounds. Even though you're in the same race, you're not exactly the same people. So I really don't understand the issue. I don't understand why so many people are getting upset about it. But two, I think a lot of people think that if potential dollar signs come up there, they're like, hey, we want to go ahead and get something as well too. So I think that's where a lot of the actual harsh feelings are actually coming from at this point in time. Because like I say, any other time, I grew up. Listen, I was born and raised in Florida. I've seen all type of flags and people proud of it and people proud to tell you where they're from and this and that or whatever. So if you could have went back when I was growing up and you'd ask people, yeah, if you could check a box and say you're from, oh yeah, I'll check that box. Yeah, I'm black, but I'll check black Caribbean, I'll check black African. So I don't really see the issue with that. I don't see why anybody would be upset. I don't see why anybody would be mad because hey, you represent your culture. You talk about your culture. You love your culture. You love your history. You love your lineage. So I don't understand why you would be upset about that personally. Original, go ahead and unmute your mic. And I see we got a number of people up in here, guys. If you want to come on up here and speak, just go ahead and request a microphone. We'll get you up here. We'll let you come on up here and speak. Shout out. I see a bunch of you guys up in here too. So like I say, definitely feel free to come up here and speak. We're not going to have a long space tonight, but I did want to go ahead and touch up on this topic. I tweeted out yesterday about the Boston reparations, and quite a few people responded to that post. And of course, the one about the California delineation, a bunch of people have been also speaking on that. So I felt, hey, we could go ahead and mesh these two topics into one space podcast tonight. So that's what we're doing. So shout out to all you guys. Make sure you go ahead and tweet out the actual room as well too. Go ahead, Original, you got it.
Yeah, I want to say this. The reason that some of these people are upset because black people in America, black Americans have been the standard of Black people around the world for decades. And so, and we've always welcomed other Black people. But what we did not know is that quite a number of them had this vitriol for us. And so now that we have decided to delineate, they are concerned about what's going to happen with them. Because see, now they're going to have to pick up and fight for themselves. And like I said earlier, I don't have an issue, coalescing, fighting for something, and we can, put it under some other category, maybe say, people of African descent or whatever coming together, but we still have to maintain our own lineage, okay? And so now that, because see, as I said earlier, they laughed at us and said we were not going to make this happen. And now that we have made it happen, and we are, and it's expanding. So now they're concerned about what's going to happen to them. Like I said, this is not Black folks. They forced us to do this, and we have to take care of ourselves. And now they're going to be responsible to take care of themselves. Like I said, I'm not against any other Black people around the world, but I will no longer allow you to come here and think you can attack us, like how they put a lot of these people on TV, and they're like, Black immigrants, but they'll speak as if they're speaking for all Black people. We don't need reparations. That's what a lot of them will say. We don't need this. We don't need that. Okay, fine. That's what you don't need, but you don't speak for us. And so now they know how it is known around the world, how when Black Americans make their mind up to do something, we get it done. And we get it done with efficiency. And so that's all I want to say. So if anyone who's in this room who is a Black immigrant, this is not about hating you or anything. If anything, you need to have a conversation with your demographic and ask them why they have this vitriol for the Black American freedmen, because we've not had that for you. So you forced our hands, and now here we are. See, when we show up, we make things happen. And I'm gonna land with that, Newstoter.
All right, appreciate that, original, and yeah, I mean, listen, I grew up in Florida. I got all kind of friends that come from immigrant backgrounds and stuff like that. So I'm cool with a number of Caribbean Black people. Some of my best friends growing up were Caribbean Black people from Jamaica, Panama, the Bahamas, and stuff like that I consider almost like brothers. So I definitely have no issue whatsoever, with that. I do have an issue, like you mentioned, when sometimes, especially when you get certain Black people, from an immigrant background, when they start talking about reparations, they sit up here, like you said, they'll sit up here and tell, yeah, well, we don't need reparations and stuff, like something that has absolutely nothing whatsoever to do with you. You shouldn't be speaking on. That's not for you to say. Because for one, you wouldn't be included in the actual the American Reparation Act. Now, you might be included in where you're from, but you wouldn't be included. So for you to sit up here and especially to kiss behind up here and try to be the teacher's pet, sitting up here saying, well, we don't need this. We don't, and that it's not for you to say. You have absolutely no say on it, and that is a thing. Now, Polo Styles makes an interesting point over here at YouTube. Polo says basically that that I guess that when I was saying that you have a number of people upset about the actual delineation, he said because they want benefits and protection under the civil rights movement that we fought for. So that's another thing you wonder about with the whole thing with the delineation. If you have a person checking a box here, checking a box there, well, you do wonder about some of these programs and stuff like that, the few little crumbs that were thrown to Black Americans. How would that play out as well too? When you're talking about certain scholarships and you're talking about certain programs and this and that or whatever and funding or whatever, how would that play out as well too if you're not checking the box as, Black descendant of chattel slavery or something like that? How does that play out in terms of you receiving certain things that you may have received before, or people in your family may have received, but now you're not this thing is it's so broad now. Before it was so narrow that, hey, you only had one box to check. Now it's so broad that, hey, you may not be receiving anything as well too. Is that something that could potentially cause hostility in that situation as well too? Like, hey, you know what? Well, I'm not eligible to get money from the United Negro College Fund, or I may, in terms of the HBCUs, and of course we know HBCUs give scholarships to anybody, white, black, Asian, Hispanic. So that's not the thing. But would certain programs and certain things be cut off if you did start doing this type of delineation thing? That's one thing that I'm also interested to find out as well too. Freedman, go ahead and unmute your mic.
Let me share this with you real quick before Freeman speak.
Go ahead.
There was a scholarship, and I don't know if I clipped it. I know I sent it out on my on my Twitter feed, but there was a scholarship in New Jersey that they've been advertising for the students, black students, but it's for Caribbean students. You see, this is what I'm talking about. See, they don't have an issue when they can get stuff that is just for them. But it is a scholarship that's coming up out of New. I'm gonna go in here on my computer and see if I can find it. But there is a scholarship that's in New Jersey, but it is only for Caribbeans.
Okay, and I believe that. I believe and there's certain scholarships that set aside, just for one ethnic group as well too. So I believe that that there's certain things set aside just like you get for Hispanics and this and that or whatever. So I definitely believe what you're saying there, original. Let me go ahead and get back to Freedman and anybody else up in the space as well too. Like I said, if any of you guys want to come up and speak, I know Black, I know you probably at work. I know you were posting some information. I didn't get a chance. So I just glanced at it, but I know you were posting some information as well in the comments section as well too, Black. So if you get a chance, I know you're working, but if you get a chance, come on up here and speak. We got a number of our people up here. Oh, I see Apia up here. Apia, what's up, man? Now, Apia is Black immigrant, so I would definitely love to get Apia's point of view on this. Apia, if you get a chance to come up here, you up in the space. I'll go ahead and I'll let you speak as always. So definitely come on up here. I'll send you an invite to speak if you want to speak. Definitely, we would love to get your opinion on the situation. Freeman giving the thumbs down, but no, it's good to have different points of view, man. It's different. It's good to hear different people speak as well too. I know y'all. I know how y'all feel about it here, but hey, this is also this also involves him as well too. He's also the box that he checked is on there as well too. So I want to hear, y'all know me. I want to hear it, man. I got to hear it. Go ahead, Freeman. You got it.
So, let's say this. His name is Apia. But anyway, delineation is self-determination. So that is the narrative and the speaking truth to power, salute to the home truth to power, both from California. That is the framing that needs to be said in that vein. Pause. Delineation is self-determination. So us delineating is us actualizing our self-determination and our specific ethnocentricity, as you said, Newstoter, is acknowledging and giving specific and exclusive benefits to our unique, specific ethnocentricity. So yeah, as far as I'm concerned, Apia really, like we said earlier, I mean, really doesn't have an opinion. I mean, he can have an opinion, but it's really irrelevant to the conversation. It has nothing to do with him. He's not going to be benefiting from this, nor should he. So he just gotta accept that and hold that L. Um, but yeah, I guess I just had some other questions as far as the Boston Reparations Task Force. Do they have a task force? Who is on the task force? And are they all American freedmen? Are they coons? Are they, I would say, Apias of the world, disruptors, chaos people? Who are they? And are they pro-American freedmen? I personally know that this task force should have exclusively American freedmen on there, and they have to have the Freedman consciousness, which promotes Freedman first policy and advocacy and application and enforcement for the American Freedmen exclusively. So it is to be expected that because we're getting something exclusively to us, all other people with brown skin want to benefit. So I actually think that it's good, and I think that there will be more hostility because now, when it's time to give, I'll say, scholarships or let's say contracts or let's say the education and things like that, the obvious of the world will now be crying and complaining because now they can't hide under blackness. Now it will be specific and exclusive benefits for the American freedmen. And because the obvious of the world are not American freedmen, now they're going to feel some type of way about getting a scholarship that will be exclusive to the American freedmen, even though they know the American freedmen or HBCUs was built by our enslaved ancestors, but yet people from Kenya and other who are non-American freedmen, they want to reap the benefits anyway, and then they want to take over the college and talk about it's African Day or Jamaican Day and all this other nonsense when its origins is not rooted in the terrorizing and the domestic brutalization of Haitians and Trinidadian and Africans. So we got a lot of work to do. I think that it's good that we are delineating and showing our self-determination. Yeah, because of that, we know it's a solution. It is a great political solution because the obvious of the world and the other melanated, brown-skinned American, non-American freedmen, they will be hostile toward it because they can no longer hide. Can't hide no more. Can't hide under our history, under our story, just because they have brown skin. I think it's great. But again, I want to know if we have any more information. Who are these people making up the task force? Will it just be a Boston version of the H.R. Ford bill? We got to talk about this.
All right, appreciate that, Freeman. Let me give a shout out for the super chat to Chosen 619. Says melanated immigrants are clinging to us not just for reparations, but because we are the best global experts on blackness. Okay, shout out to you, Chosen 619. Thank you for the super chat as well too. We go ahead real quick, guys. Make sure if you haven't, go ahead and subscribe to the YouTube channel. Go ahead and subscribe to the YouTube channel. That's up in the Jumbotron. For the people coming in the YouTube, guys, make sure you click the notification bell because they're not giving out the notifications here on YouTube. Definitely subscribe, click that notification bell, like tonight's broadcast, leave a comment if you can. For those that can support us on Cash App, $Newstoter, $Newstoter. Newstoter is the largest Black-owned, Black American news media curation platform today in America. Once again, $Newstoter, $Newstoter. If you do not have Cash App, we have the Venmo and PayPal up in the description on YouTube, and the PayPal and Venmo is in the actual Jumbotron here on Twitter/X. So for those that can support, it's greatly appreciated to the platform, guys. Definitely, we need that support. We need that help. Even if you got $1 that you can spare to the actual platform, it is greatly, greatly appreciated and greatly put to use as well, too. We have a number of speakers up here. Nobody has a hand up, so I'm going to see if I know, Reza, you came up here first. We got Black Majority State. Black, do you want to speak? Because I know you're working. You got time to speak, or are you good? Or
yes, sir. I can go now. Shut the truck off, so I don't have that noise. So shout out to Newstoter, everybody in the space. I put in your purple peel the rapper Richie Rich, who I believe is from the Oakland Bay Area, kind of went viral recently, just talking about the conditions for Black Americans in California. He's essentially saying it's time to get out. So I put above that, reparations and migrate. So in terms of the topic with the delineation, the OMB seems to be following that pattern based on all of the submissions and the ongoing advocacy and conversations that they're having with different organizations about delineating. So this is a great thing. The thing about California, which is so interesting, is that it's already been declared a majority Hispanic state. There are more Hispanics in the education, the public education system, than any other demographic. So they're essentially headed for Mexicanization of the state. You got this 2.8 million Black American / diasporan population, of which I think during the California Reparations Task Force hearings, they said essentially 2 million of that, almost 3 million, are indeed descendants. So that really shrinks them down from 7% to like 5% of the population, which means 95% of the population in a state of almost 40 million people are non-Black Americans. Just demographically, it looks like a very, what's the word? A situation where you need protection. It needs to be in law. Whatever bureau they do create, they need to have enforcement. And so those are the other two things that I put in the purple pill, because as I look at the country, our relationship to the states, our relationship to the federal government, the thing that's really been missing is enforcement of these laws. Creating laws, putting them on paper, putting them in a digital format, it's just black and white, letters on a piece of paper or on a digital screen. Without enforcement, they actually literally mean absolutely nothing. And so I highlighted the Bureau of Indian Affairs and the different Indian tribes that are in California that actually do have police enforcement, and it does extend beyond their tribes, and they do have jurisdiction over non-tribal people when on tribal lands. And so I think it's very important to have a component of all of these reparation apparatus across the states at the federal level, where you have an enforcement bureau, an enforcement department that's not at the DOJ or some other apparatus that we don't actually control, but is actually within the Freedmen's Bureau, whatever they decide to call it. Because had we rewind time and we go back to when the original Freedmen's Bureau was in effect, if they had a law enforcement division within that bureau, they probably could have prevented and or had the authority to arrest and convict and charge, and then maybe recoup some of the losses by selling off, property or whatever it was, assets of the people who essentially raided that bureau. So I've been posting, for a while, but more recently, as I'm looking at the way these systems are constructed, that you must have an enforcement arm, because if it's just an agency, and all you're doing is advocating to some other agency for enforcement, you're essentially going to be in the same position. The only difference is now you have reparations, and now you have all these other things, but the last thing on it is non-repetition of the harms. And so how do you actually verify and enforce the fact that they're not going to be repeating the harms, especially in California, where you're 5% of the population, and it's 2 million against 36 million people, and you're not even concentrated, where you actually control counties or cities or whatever. You're scattered even across that state, so you really don't control much of anything, to be quite honest. So to me, it just seems like it's mandatory to get some type of enforcement arm inside of that bureau, so that you can actually go out, investigate, and charge and arrest, and then fine and seize assets and do whatever it is you got to do to make sure that the repetition doesn't happen.
All right. Thank you, Black. I appreciate it. Ariza, you're up here as well. Do you want to go ahead and speak? Shout out to that Negro, and I see Governor up here as well too. Shout out to my girl Tony. What's up, Tony? What's up, Shannon? What's up, Afro Plus? What's up, Alyssa? I see y'all down towards the bottom, guys. Definitely go ahead and retweet this space out tonight. For those just coming into the space, we've been talking about the Boston Reparations Task Force, and we're also talking about California being the first state to go ahead and put on paper the actual delineation as well too, guys. So definitely we definitely want to get our people up in here to speak on this as well, guys. I know a lot of y'all today been leaving comments. Leave comments in the comment section as well too while the space is going. If you guys don't want to speak, go ahead. We'll try to go ahead and read some of the comments that you guys leave here on Twitter and YouTube as well too. So definitely go ahead and definitely come up here. If you can come up here and speak, I know some of y'all just come to listen. Y'all don't want to speak, but if you can come up here and speak, definitely add to the conversation. We would love to hear you guys. Ariza, I'm gonna see if you up here. Ariza, I know you came up here. You're in the speaker section. I know your hand's not up, but I want to see if you want to go ahead and speak. Are you there?
Oh, hi everybody. It's Lorenzo. Just giving a shout out from here in Anchorage, Alaska. Time is 5:04 p.m. here. The sun is about to go down. It's still up. And I'm doing some stuff moving around here in the crib. So hope all is well. Not much to speak on the delineation on race, Boston Reparations Task Force topic. I do know that a lot of things are necessary to be done. So for all of you guys who are listening, shouts out to you. My project's going to start soon, Newstoter, so if you want in, don't forget to check your messages later. But I'm going to get back to doing this, and I'll try to catch up with you guys later. Be one.
All right. Appreciate you. Appreciate you. Do what you got to do. Sound like you're a man at work, and we don't want to go ahead and knock your hustle. So go ahead. Glad to have you. I know you came up here, so I wanted to see if you wanted to say something. P, I know your hand is not up, but I definitely want to hear what you got to say. I know a lot of people they can't wait for you to come up here, but hey, I'm gonna let you go ahead and say what you got to say, man. So, Pia, do you want to speak right now? Or you gonna wait?
Yeah, I'll come back in 2 minutes. I want somebody to speak and I'll come back.
Okay. Well, you definitely come back. When you come back, make sure you ain't got your earbuds in. It sounded like you was kind of far away, so I want to be able to hear you loud and clear. But definitely, we'll get back to you in a couple minutes. Let me go ahead. I'm gonna get to Freedman and I'm gonna get to Original, and hopefully Pia he'll be ready to come back and speak as well too. Because like I say, guys, we understand. You know what I'm saying? I understand everybody's point of view and feelings in the actual space. But like I said, we notice also on the actual forums that if you look at that article, it's up in the Jumbotron. If you look at the article, it has check boxes, so it's gonna be people of immigrant backgrounds that's gonna check something else as well too that's gonna be different from you. So it's good to hear. And I know people say, well, Apia, we know what he's gonna say, but it's good to hear another point of view as well too. So, it is what it is. But Freeman, go ahead and unmute your mic.
Keep that African headset on so we do not have to hear the babble from you. I appreciate that. We don't need that injected into the space. But my question is, do you have any more information on the Boston Reparations Task Force? Like, who are they? Are they American Freedmen? What are their names? Are they Freedmen conscious? Do they support Freedmen first policy? Or will they be coons like Reginald Sawyer? Will they be coons and traitors like Cheryl Grills? Will they be coons and traitors and of Caribbean ancestry and not American Freedmen like Lisa Holder? Or will there be a European Confederate or a Japanese person like what was his name? Don Tamaki. Don Tamaki was on there talking about, well, what about all black people? And this man is on a goddamn task force that's supposed to be providing justice exclusively for the American Freedmen. Now, those are the four people that I mentioned who voted against ancestral reparations, voted against the people who were owed reparations by the congressional commitments and the ancestral status that we have by way of our freedmen status. So I think we need to explore that, find out more information on the names, what is their disposition and their position on being on this reparations task force. Is this just political theater? Is it just saying, oh, Boston Reparations Task Force, and then it'll just be a bingo lotto like it is in Evanston, giving what is it? Housing vouchers?
Basically housing grants.
Housing vouchers? Like, what the hell is this? Is this Boston Reparations Task Force pro-American Freedman exclusivity and policy and enforcement, like I mentioned earlier? What are they about?
All right. See, we got Apia. You got his hand up. Apia, you want to go now? You want to wait? You want to go after original?
I'm ready to go, but let original go because I know definitely he'll say something about his response. So original, you can have it, and after I put y'all in the same box. Go ahead.
All right. Well, go ahead, original.
Well, no, you can't put me in the same box just because you don't like what I'm saying. But Newstoter, I put an image of this City of Newark Caribbean Commission Scholarship Program 2024. And underneath that it says, are you a 2024 Newark High School graduate of Caribbean heritage? And see, that's the issue. We don't have an issue with these other black people around the world for whatever reason, because, see, white people have brainwashed them. Remember when they had that earthquake in Haiti? So I was part of a group where this sister from here, and she was trying to raise funds to go to Haiti. And so we assisted her in raising funds. But when she got there, a degenerate white Christian started asking people, what is your religion? And she told her, she said, I don't have a religion. So she started telling the Haitian people, do not work with her. But this one brother, he said, I don't give a damn what she said. He said, that, well, I'll say witch, but you know what I mean. That witch is not my sister. He said, you are my sister. Now, see, there are some black people around the world. They understand what it means to have a black united front. But this situation has gotten so bad whereby we had to do this. Just like they got this Caribbean Commission in Newark, New Jersey. So they have a scholarship for only Caribbean people. So how do you think that? So I'd like to ask Apia, how do you think that make black Americans feel? That they have benefited off the blood, sweat, and death that our ancestors have gone through in this country, fighting for us. And then they fought for black people from the diaspora to come over here. We thought we was getting allies, but a lot of them ended up being enemies to us. We can't continue that. So there's nothing wrong. There is nothing wrong with people identifying who they are. Because if that's the case, why won't the Caribbean share this scholarship with black Americans up in Newark, New Jersey? See, don't try to put this on us. We didn't do this. We were attacked. We were viciously attacked. And so now we're having to respond and clean up this mess. Now, anybody can take issue with it all they want. But I'll tell you what, I put my demographic, my Freedman, Negro, Black American, whatever we want to call ourselves, I have to put that first. Now, there was a time back in the 90s when I was pro-Pan-African. Hell, I was African almost all day long. But now that I see that I'm not really wanted by them, by quite a number. And the other part of it is, I don't see any of the others coming out denouncing what some of these others are doing. This is not fair to us, and we can't continue down this pathway. So people may get upset, but go into the chat, people, and you will see that flyer. It's a City of Newark Caribbean Commission Scholarship for 2024, and that doesn't. Now, Caribbeans have benefited off us before, during, and after the Civil Rights Movement. So this is a slap in the face to me. This is a slap in the face. And I'll land with that.
All right. Thank you, original. Thank you. Before I get to Apia, guys, make sure, if, like I say, we're trying to get more YouTube subscribers. If you have not subscribed to the YouTube channel, it's up in the Jumbotron. Same for my people, anybody that may be listening to this this broadcast tonight. If you're on YouTube, go ahead and click that subscribe, click the notification bell as well too, because notifications are not being given out by YouTube, guys. So definitely click the notification bell. Like I said before, for those that can support us, this is our first space broadcast this week, but we've been still putting out the content as usual. So for those that can support us on Cash App, $Newstoter, $Newstoter, any amount will definitely do. If you got $1 that you can donate to the platform, it is greatly appreciated. If you do not have Cash App, we have the Venmo and PayPal in the Jumbotron. Same on YouTube. It's the Venmo and PayPal is up in the actual description as well too. We need your support, guys. We definitely need your support. Let me go ahead and get to Apia. Go ahead and unmute your mic, and if try to get your phone up as loud as possible, Apia. I don't know if you got on any earbuds, anything like that.
All right, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you pretty decent.
All right, thank you. Thank you for the platform, and respectfully, I would, want the contribution to be more progressive than, what sometimes it turns out to be. Original respect, so I want to ask you a question with regards to the Caribbean scholarship. Do you, by any chance, know the source of funding, sir?
Did you say the social funding?
The source of funding.
The source of funding.
The source of funding. Yes, the source.
No, I don't know the source of the funding, but you can look in the chat. It says it's the City of Newark Caribbean Commission. So apparently they have a Caribbean Commission in Newark that are only advocating for Caribbean people. And like I said, I don't have an issue with that. But don't get upset with us when we choose to do that same thing, because see, Caribbeans have benefited from, like I said earlier, Caribbeans have benefited from us before, during, and after the Civil Rights Movement. And so now to want to, okay, go ahead.
Yeah, that's all that I wanted to, ask with regards to that particular issue, because I believe that if you want to, bring a topic, you would want to do more research and bring everything in whole so we can understand, the history behind that organization, why it is what it is, and the source of funding, so we can tell it, okay, this is what it's all about. I've heard about it, but I haven't read it. Therefore, it makes the information scanty for me to be able to comment on it. However, I'm a Ghanaian, right? I'm not directly from the Caribbean. However, am I upset? No, I'm not. Indeed, I do encourage some of these things. All right, anything that will uplift Black folks, irrespective of one find themselves, I'm all for it. Because guess what? If these individuals that will earn this scholarship, right, become great folks in the United States, it helps some of persons like myself to walk into an establishment knowing that this person just looked like me. It's a relief for me. And it also boosts the image of persons that look like me. Therefore, I'm not upset at all. And I would love to see a lot of Black American organizations, institutions, whatever, commissions also do the same. It doesn't, just for Black Americans. It is great. And sure, we may all get support at the end of the day, right? Because it is still uplifting the course. So that is the mindset some of us do have. Now, put that aside and let me address the issue of, before I even go into, the schools.
Real quick, Apia, before you get there, I just want to say that, like the United Negro College Fund, to my knowledge, there are Caribbean people and stuff that have gotten money from the United Negro College Fund. Of course, you have the HBCUs, and you have Caribbean African people as well that benefit from that as well too. So I get what you're saying, but there are a number of things that historically that was set aside for Black Americans that other Black people of color, even I believe there's Juneteenth scholarships and stuff like that you have people from Africa and other places that also benefit from that as well too. So not to cut you off, but I just wanted to go ahead and add that in there. But go ahead.
Okay, thank you. I mean, if there are rooms of which they accommodate other Black folks, it is a blessing, right? It will be quite disheartening to hear that, well, these were allocated specifically for Black Americans. However, they have overlooked, or for corrupt purposes, they've given it to folks in Ghana or whatever. That is where I may have a challenge. But if there are rooms and they feel like, we can take 3 or 4 folks as well, whatever number it is. I mean, well, that is their prerogative, right? It's an option that they choose to do, which shout out to them. And I will, be excited to see more of those. Now, a gentleman brought up an issue with regards to California and talking about numbers, right? And say that if you know take away the diaspora and they're just 5% going after the whole, what, like 94% or whatever percentage that you put out there. Is this not the reason why it is always good to have more numbers to remain relevant, to stay competitive, and benefit of the resources, as opposed to be in the minority and almost become negligible? Because in a constitutional environment where they say majority carries the votes, guess what? Every time the interest of the majority will be served, and therefore you in the minority, you would have to toe the line of the majority, unless under some weird circumstances where they'll say that no, with this particular issue, we will just look at these issues. But in general, that's how it works. Majority carries the votes. So if you go to any city council, any meetings, any town hall meetings, and the votes they are voting, they will look at the larger interest and satisfy it. So if you think about it, and you feel that, you know what, I am more comfortable with my 2% or 1% in the whole fragmentation of like 98%, well, I don't know how you can battle, win, be relevant, be visible, and even take control. But that is, something that you may want to ponder over. Now, issues with HBCUs, I think that this issue has been clarified a lot of times, right? The first thing you want to consider is this: look, there are foreign students add up $9 billion to the economy of the United States every year. I want you to look it up. $9 billion a year. Now, what it does is that they use some of these funds that they get from foreign students, because you have to pay full tuition before you can get access to this place, right? They use some of these funds to do what? To offset some of what the operations of the schools, also to give scholarships to the indigenous folks or whoever that they are in the country. So sometimes they call it educational tourism, okay? And they have specific allocation where they say this is for international students. And they pay more times 2 than what, the locals would pay. So they make profit of international students. They make profit of them. And it's not free. Also, they have this scholarship where they say that if you are able to attain whatever, grade or degree that there is, you can have X, Y, Z. So can you, in the name of transparency, explain to me how that becomes a hindrance to Black Americans in the HBCUs when these foreign students bring in money to support the HBCUs? How does one, have a problem with it?
Okay, I never said it was a hindrance, and let's be honest and let's be clear here as well too. And I'm not saying it's a hindrance. I never said that, but I will say this right here. Let's not forget too, before you ever had foreign students at HBCUs, they were around 100 years. So it's not like foreign students keep HBCUs afloat. So I just have to go ahead and put that out there as well too. The HBCUs, they have whites, they have Hispanics, they have Asians, they get money for having a bunch of different students coming there. So I definitely understand. Foreign, the scholarships that they give foreign students is not keeping HBCUs afloat.
Okay, well, you may want to respectfully check. I'm not saying it's wholly like that is the only money that keep the system running, but you can also check, right? And also, they advertise these schools worldwide. The HBCU advertise these schools. If you don't advertise them, nobody will hear of them. Nobody will think about it, right? Sending emails through other Ivy League schools on the continent. Every time you turn on your email, you've got 10, 15 of them. Every time. So, first of all, if you have an issue, you would want to question the leadership. Why are you advertising these schools to foreign students? Why? What do you gain from it? They're here and we need. So you cannot, those that take the opportunity, okay, and pay to come and get the education, when you have the whole leadership that provided them the platform.
I think you're missing what I was saying up here. What I'm saying is that when you were talking about scholarship, I'm saying that there are a number of things that Black Americans get in this country that other Black people benefit from. There are things there because of the laws and everything else that Black people fought for in the 60s. Black people that come over here in this country, they all benefit off of what the actual struggle and that's education, that's housing, that's whatever you want to name it. They all benefit from the actual struggles of Black Americans. There are some things that exclusively for Caribbeans and Africans. There's nothing really in this country that is exclusively for Black Americans. Now, there may be some scholarships that somebody put aside, say, you know what, this is only for Black Americans who are descendants of chattel slavery, but that would be very few and far there. But for the pretty much, there's nothing that anybody in this space can get that you can't get.
Well, can you be more specific to some of the stuff that is exclusively to Black Americans and other Africans are, tethering on?
I'm saying, what is it? What I'm saying, whatever. I'm saying, if there was any kind of quota, anything like that, when somebody hires a Black African, they'll say that fills the spot for a minority or whatever,
Right.
So there's nothing. That's what I'm saying. There's nothing that I can get in this country that you can't get. Period.
Right. I get it. Yeah, that part I get it because I have had that, scenario before where a friend of mine told me, "Yo, this pharmaceutical company, they have a spot for minority, so if you can, apply whatever that there is, right?" But I was not really interested in it, so I know that they have this minority quota in certain institutions that anybody that falls in that category tends to benefit. But is it exclusive to Black Americans though? Because, sir, here again, you're talking about national issues, right? And when you talk of national issues, in terms of an economy, they have various classes, so on and so forth, and then they deal with numbers. So if they say that minority, basically, it is not exclusive to a certain, ethnicity, right? It's, in terms of numbers, anybody that falls in that category, also from an economic standpoint, can benefit. That's my understanding, especially with the formulation of policies. Can you imagine that?
Let me ask you one quick question, Apia. Just on what's your opinion about this out there in California that's taking place? That now that you can go ahead and on these forms, you can go ahead and now, with you being an African brother, you can go ahead and you can check African Black, and we can check Black American or a descendant of chattel slavery. Do you feel like what's your feelings about that there?
I think I have a mixed feeling on it, and my mixed feeling is not because, it is going to disadvantage me. No, it will not. And it will not disadvantage people from the continent. Not at all. Not even for a second. Because I've been around this country and I know that, for want of a better word, like, I don't understand why, Black Americans are not given their due. I don't know why. I don't want to get into it because I may have an idea or two. However, I think that I would have wished that it would have been a collective thing. So every time there's a win, it's a win for everybody. But now it's going to be like these companies would not be saying, right, thank you very much. Now this is what we're looking for. This is what we're looking for. That is what it is going to be more, of which I wish it never happened. But yeah, that's all I would say. But to me, it's not going to be, I'm not going to be disadvantaged at all. At all. That's all.
Okay.
I wish it never happened, but who will benefit most? I mean, time will tell. But I know that my folks will not be disadvantaged, for want of a better word.
You didn't answer the question about you having mixed feelings about it, but we did.
My mixed feeling basically, I explained it. I said that the thing is, I would have wished that we could move in unison so that a win for anybody will be a win for all. But now that it is like, no, each one for himself, God for us all, as it is in any, capitalist environment, what it means is that now the organizations or whoever that will be in charge will say that, well, you know what, I want to hire these group of individuals from this particular lineage or ethnicity, and they would have their reason, and so it has the propensity of going to the advantage of one over the other. However, I know that somebody like me and those of us from the other side, we will not be disadvantaged. So if you get what I'm trying to say, you'll get where I'm going. So that's where I'm a little disappointed.
Okay. No, hold on real quick, Freeman. Hold on real quick, because I wanted to ask you one more thing. Let me give a shout out to my girl Shannon too for her contribution on Cash App. You said something about and this is a little bit off track, but you said something about you would like to see the platform progressing. Now, you do understand that if you go to YouTube, there's hundreds of videos that we have, spaces we uploaded, probably about over 300 videos, and out of the 300 videos there may be maybe 20 spaces dealing with reparations and even pan-African type issues as well too. So you understand also, if you visit the actual website, there's all kind of news articles as well too. I believe right now there's about 20,000 posts on Newstoter right now to this day. That's why I tell everybody you can't tweet everything on X or Twitter. So you need to go visit newstoter.com to stay up to date on breaking Black news. So exactly what did you mean that you felt that you wish the platform was progressing when there's such a plethora of content that we have on there?
Make sure you send 100 shillings to the Newstoter platform. There you go.
No. What I was saying is that I would want us to keep the conversation more progressive, so it has to become personal, and all the vitriolic comment that's statement that sometimes it throws the whole debate up in the air. That's all I was just trying to clarify.
Okay, well, I can understand it. And me, myself, and anybody can tell you, I like to go ahead and keep the conversation on focus too. I don't like the personal attacks and stuff like that, even though, there's stuff that you say that I don't agree with, definitely. But, I can go ahead and let you state your opinion or whatever, because you're entitled to that. That's your opinion. If you want to feel that way, that's how you're going to feel. But I get what you're saying as well too. So real quick, let me give a shout out to Alyssa as well too. Let me go ahead and get to and stay up here, P, as well too. Because like I say, I myself do like to have a person, that everybody in the space is pretty much on par with each other, how they feel, because let's be honest, we are Black Americans, descendants of chattel slavery. But you yourself, you are, even though you're a Black person, you come from a different place and a different culture and everything else. So your viewpoint, your viewpoint on things are going to be different as well too. And I can respect that. I don't have to agree with everything people say, but I can respect it. And I'm going to let you, while you up here, I'm going to give you respect. I'm going to let you sit up here and talk or whatever. And I may go ahead and rebuttal what you're saying, but hey, I'm gonna let you go ahead and speak as well too. So shout out to you. Shout out to all my people up in here. They're gonna let you speak as well too. They're pretty respectful for the most part up in this space as well too. So I try to keep people respectful, and like I say, the personal stuff we try to go ahead and keep that to a very minimum, because that does take the conversation elsewhere. But let me go ahead and get to
progressive for Apia means Ghanaians get to be included in American freedom justice.
right. Let me go ahead and get the Quadir. We had Leroy up here. Leroy, I saw you were up here and you disconnected. If you get a chance, Leroy, come back up here and I'll get you up here too, because I definitely want to hear what some of the new speakers say. But we're gonna go ahead and get to my man Quadir. It's been a little minute since he's been up in the space. What's up?
Hey, what's up, Toter? What's up, DJ? How y'all doing?
What's up?
What's up to the room? What's up to the room? Hey, I just want to come up here. I just want to say real quick, it's very disrespectful when someone comes up in our space and tries to tell us how the U.S. works. We were always the numerical, quote unquote, minority, the quote unquote numerical minority, and we've never told the lines of the quote unquote majority. Look at the civil rights bills and things that we made them do. I mean, we are even getting delineation popping. So that's that. I want to defend Original a little bit more. He never said he had a problem with the Caribbeans or their own thing. He said, don't cry once we do it. And this individual Apaya continue to say that Original was was crying over it. Original was not crying over it. All he said was, don't cry once we start doing it. Another thing, we've never had unison amongst the rest of the diaspora. We never did. It's always been one-sided. We've always been pulling more weight than everyone else. In fact, we see video after video of people from the diaspora shitting and tearing down reparations. Excuse my French, Newstoter. I'm trying to find the right I'm trying to find words that aren't cuss words. So just bear with me. Yeah, so you can see videos of, people from the diaspora, one after another saying that we don't deserve reparations because they're not foundational Black Americans and or freedmen. And lastly, that whole school thing. No one brings money to the economy from schooling. That money is coming from Pell and Tag grants from the U.S. government and or debt. And I'm gonna land there.
Thank you, Quadir. Thank you. I see Leroy's up here, so let me go ahead and let Leroy. I know you had disconnected, but Leroy, go ahead and unmute your mic.
Hi. I wanted to speak to what Apai said. So he basically trying to make it seem like, with this delineation thing that immigrants from like Black majority countries will get favor over us, and that's probably true. But what I don't like is how they try to make it seem like it won't benefit us, because even if that is the case with this delineation, on federal forms, we'll have the data like for our specific group. So it's like, I don't know, it's just they try to throw that in our face, but it's benefiting us either way. So that's all I wanted to say. Thank you.
Leroy, I forget, because I think you spoke last time. I forget that you're an actual woman. I see the name Leroy. Like, you kill me every time you come and hear the little voice. I'm thinking it's a dude. Okay, I forgot that you did speak in the space before. So shout out to Leroy. Original or Freedman? I'm not sure which one of you guys was next.
I think it was me. What I want to say to Apaya, okay, I'm sure you know who Jews are. Now, Jewish is not a race, it is a religion. So they understand that they are a distinct and specific group of white people, okay? And they have their own little enclave, they got their own little religion and everything else. And it seems that no one has an issue with Jews doing things that's just for Jews. Now, here in Georgia, where I live, they are 1.2. Now, you talked about, people working together. Now, here in Georgia, Jews are 1.2% of the entire demographic of Georgia. And Black people here in Georgia, we're like, 33% of the demographic. But even here in Georgia, you have some Black people will stand up and vehemently fight for the Jews before they will fight for Black folks. And so these elected officials, they know what's coming. There's the wind is blowing in a different direction, and it's smelling good, because Black people, the Black American freedman Negro, we have awakened, and we don't have an issue aligning with you to work on certain things, but at the beginning and ending of each day, we are different. Yes, we have Black skin, and like I said, and it doesn't matter who funds that Caribbean scholarship. The fact of the matter is that it's just for Caribbean. See, when we fought for stuff, all Black people, people who wasn't Black got some of it because it went under the banner of minority. And we know now that does not benefit us. We're not going down that. We're not going to continue to drive on that road. That road has been blocked, and it's not going to become unblocked. So don't come to us and tell us what we need to do. Yes, like I said, we don't have an issue working with you, but understand we are a unique and distinct ethnic group. Now, see, even like the Fijians over in Fiji, they understand and they identify with their African root, but they also understand that they are a unique and different group. They left Africa centuries ago because of warfare and went to Fiji. So there's a lot of stuff that has to be fixed in Africa before any of us could think about going over there. But just understand, this is not about hate. This is not hating anyone. This is us doing what we should have done back in the 1960s. but it didn't get done. Dr. King was murdered. I think it was headed that way. Dr. King was murdered, and things just got thrown up in the air and shambles. But now we're having to clean this up. Like I said, this is not about you. This is about us, Black American freedmen Negroes, getting what is owed to us. This has nothing to do with hate or anything. So now that we see that there are groups that are doing that, so okay, we're going to do it too. Do you have an issue with Jewish people fighting for what they need for themselves? Because they check when they fill out an application, they check white. So it's only an issue when the Black American freedman Negro do it. And our land.
All right. Thank you, Original. Let me go ahead and get to Freedman, and I'm going to get to you, Black Majority State.
Well, I'm glad we got to hear how an enemy called Apia sounds, because he is most definitely an enemy to the American freedmen. Progress to him means including Ghanaians, including all the tribes of Ghana, so they can be included in our reparations and our history and our story, so that they can get the glory. That is what he means by quote unquote progress. As far as the minority issue is concerned, it doesn't matter. Even though the American freedmen class citizens are not the minority in this country, some would even say we are the majority. But if we are not the majority, and let's say, which is not true, we are the minority, so are the European gefilte fish eaters, and they get 100% of their benefits. In New York City, which is where I am, they are not the majority here, so they do not concede to the majority of everyone else. The European matzo ball eaters do not have to concede to the majority, and those gefilte fish eaters did not build the nation of the United States, and they actually enslaved American freedmen. Logic would dictate that the American freedmen should get even more preferential treatment and priority over them. So his quote majority argument is trash, and he would only make that argument to us. He would never go tell a small hat to his face, you are the minority, and you have to concede to the majority. He knows his place. He knows his place in the system of white supremacy. He knows his place. But he will come into this space and tell us, well, y'all not the majority in California, so the 2 million versus 36 million, y'all just got to go concede to them because the majority will always win. No, it don't matter if there's 5 American freedmen in Utah. All 5 of the American freedmen should get preferential treatment. They should get all of the benefits exclusive to them, and they should get top justice priority in every way, shape, form, and fashion. Why? Because they are the legacy founders of this country. They are the legacy citizens. They are the only non-immigrant group in this country. So they should get all of the benefits because their ancestors built this country, and as their inheritance of justice, and as them being heirs to a vast estate, they should be reaping the benefits. Whether even if it's just 5 in Utah, and maybe there's 10 American freedmen in Utah. The bottom line is that the numbers is irrelevant, because I just showed you an example of LGBT people not being the majority in the country, yet they get the majority of the benefits. They get 100% benefits. The gefilte fish eater, the braided challah soup eaters, they get 100% of their benefits just by being Holocaust survivors. Even though the American freedmen liberated them during the World War II, they get their personal exclusive benefits. So see, Apia knows his place. And when he goes home and gets around his Ghanaian family, he is never going to tell them, well, we are the minority here, and we have to work with the American freedmen because there's more American freedmen than Ghanaians in this country, and they built this country, and they should get priority. He would never go and fix his lips to say that to his own. This is why we have to identify the traitors and the people who posture and disguise themselves as allies and come into these spaces and maybe even in person and say, yeah, I'm with y'all, and I don't have no problem with y'all delineating. And what about these guys? What about the Ghanaians? What about us? We don't give a fuck about you. Excuse me.
Whoa,
We don't
yeah,
give a
yeah.
damn about you. My bad. We don't give a damn about you. We don't care about you. You are not American freedmen. You are not even an ally. Why should we care about a enemy to the American freedmen? Respect to the actual Ghanaians who are actual in support of American freedmen justice. But this guy right here on the stage, he is not one of them. He is not one of them, and we know that just by way of his responses, just by way of him wanting to be included, him coming up on here and lying and contradicting himself in every syllable that he mentioned. You're not slick. We see you. We see you. And no, Caribbeans should not be getting any benefits, but it's not a problem when they have their own scholarships and benefits that's exclusive to the Caribbean. So it will never be a problem, and it should never be a problem when the American freemen get our own benefits. The jig is up, Apia. Jig is up. Good night.
Alrighty. Let me go ahead and get to like I say, guys, try not to make it too personal either. Now, let's just stick on the topic. But go ahead, Black Majority State.
Okay. Wow. So try not to keep it personal. Yeah, I'm not going to mention anybody's name, but I do have bail money. I got property that I could collateralize if I'm ever in a situation. And I do have bail money. I want to make that clear. So listening to the just disgusting, it's disrespectful on unlimited amount of levels to have to listen to that, to have to listen to somebody who has the mentality of a locust, of a vampire, of a leech, someone who essentially their whole existence, to be quite honest, is built around this fascination with Black America and being in America and living and being and having a certain level of success in America. It's always in comparison to us. And then to say so many very, 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 just like, so when someone says, I'm going to be okay, no matter what happens, no matter how successful you are, when someone says that in that way, in the manner in which this person said that, to me, that tells me everything that I need to know. When I was 14 and I had a conversation with a foreigner, an immigrant who had that mentality, it was like the movie where there's an alien in the house and the one guy has a bat on the wall and the guy says swing, right? Swing. I grabbed that bat, that aluminum bat, and I started swinging at this dude because at that point I had mentally blacked out. Everything that was coming out of his mouth just put me in this state. And listening to this guy talk really put me in the same mind state as if I was 14 years old in that room with this person. I'm going to do everything in my power to ensure that whatever I do politically or otherwise really figures out a way to block these people out, to block them out permanently like we're blocking out the sun. And the reason is that while he can express it because he feels very comfortable on the internet expressing it, I believe that this lives inside of these people. And I really don't think I think it's as if they're from a different planet. They're from a different universe. And it what disturbs me the most is that every time I listen to people like him express what they express, it's always in conjunction or in an attack towards Black Americans, but it's never ever in relationship to Europeans and the fact that the Europeans and the Asians control all of the resources in their lands. I just feel sick to my stomach listening to a person like that speak. So, for me, I love the space, I respect the space, but I'll either mute the conversation or I'll just leave, because for me, I can't take it. I know I can't put hands on this person, and I just don't want to hear it anymore. So I'll just end on that.
All right. Thank you, Black. Thank you. We're not going to keep the space going too much longer. Let me go ahead and let DJ go ahead and say something. Well, Pia, go ahead. I'll let you say something, and then I'm gonna let DJ, and we're gonna end up shutting it down a little bit.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
All right. I was just hoping that, the last speaker would address the points that I made. But for some reason, he couldn't have the capacity to address any of them. He decided to be extra, very personal, and say whatever that he wanted to say. Out of respect for you and, your space, I'm not going to respond to him, right? So I just want to put that on record. Now, my point here is this. Everything that I stated is as a result of what the facts are, okay? And I was hoping that anybody will counter it with whatever information that they have so that we can keep the information going. But it appears that it is all attack, and no one has a monopoly when it comes to some of these words that were used. But out of respect for you, sir, I will leave it hanging, and I pray that these individuals will find peace in their brain and in their heart and move on in life. Thank you.
All right. Let me get to Quadir. I see Quadir's up here. So Quadir, go ahead and unmute your mic.
Yeah, real quick, family. See, this is the reason why delineation is important. So when people feel like they can when people feel comfortable enough to start telling us what to do and or speak for us out the blue, we can shut that. We can shut. Well, let me be careful with my words. I don't want to curse. We can shut that down ASAP. This is good that we have delineation going on. I love it. I love what California is doing. I can't wait for it to hit in this area. DJ, no, because we deal with I know black poppies a lot, all over the place. And I just want to land with that. I'm not going to say anything else.
All right. Thank you, Quadir. DJ, go ahead, because we're going to end up, unless somebody else wants to come up here and speak real quick, we're going to end up shutting it down for the night. So if you guys, if I may get one or two more speakers, but if not, I'm going to go ahead and let DJ get ready to close it out for the night.
You better come on now. Forever hold your peace. Somebody down there, Lisa, you get to rapping. Ray, where you been at, brother? Trouble, you ain't coming up to give us no good trouble. Say, look. I ain't even had to say nothing. Ooh, look at Rob. Oh, that's my dog. Oh. Come on, man. Come on up, son.
We got Rock Roll up in the house. Rock Roller, try not to curse. Try not to curse too. Rock Roller, you want to say something real quick?
Yeah, I'm gonna be real quick, bro. I just wanted to come up and say this. Let's not forget what Apaya said when he was asked that question about now that I can check that Black American box, you got to check that African box. Notice how he said that if you check that box, it's gonna hurt you Black Americans. It's not gonna hurt my African ass. It's not gonna hurt me. So you gotta be real careful with this dude. He's a master babbler, bro. And that's what I got from that. He's saying that us delineating is gonna hurt us. Not Africans, not Caribbeans, but us. And I land right there.
All right, thank you. Rock Roller always come up. He's quick with it. He comes quick and he's done. Like he's up in maybe about 25 seconds or so. So shout out to my man Rock Roller. As always, peace to you, Rock Roller. Go ahead, DJ. Like I said, we're gonna get ready to shut this thing down.
Shout out to my dogs. But now, all jokes aside, so I got kicked out of space, phone calls, everything else coming through. So I missed most of what was said, but I'm pretty sure I caught the gist of it. So obviously up here, it is what it is. Stay mad, you know what I mean? Teller's gonna tell her, only Eminem can getting paid. So with that being said, when you said, like Rob Waller just reiterated, I'm not gonna feel anything. Well, hey, you're right about that, because you got a whole nother country you can just get low to. Like Jigga said, I got 5 passports. I'm never going to jail. We get it. You know what I'm saying? So what don't affect you here will definitely affect us, and whatever affects us doesn't really affect you. So therefore, meaning, why is everyone upset that we're delineating? Because you won't be attached to these programs that are currently in America that our people built up for the most part. You know what I'm saying? Let's keep it real. I done met a lot of brothers from the diaspora that are upset that we get unemployment, Social Security, welfare. Well, our people's fought for that. They ain't dying for it, but they fought for it. You know what I'm saying? It's a difference. We ain't dying to vote, bro. You know what I'm saying? We voted to go get things taken care of. So with that being said, shout out to California, shout out to New Jersey, shout out to New York, shout out to Boston. Federal reparations is the way, but whatever you can get from these states at this point, I guess, because our peoples are hurting. Black Africans or black immigrants in general, you know what I'm saying, make way more than us black Americans who are born and raised that built this country up. But we don't ever hear y'all say anything about that. When I go to these black immigrant businesses and I say, hey, do business with black Americans, and this is what we're doing, we're fighting for reparations, you can take the same information down to Jamaica, Haiti, Dominican Republic, Brazil, and say, hey, look, the crown owed you too. They owe y'all too. But we got to get paid first, though, because we putting in this work that y'all not willing to do. So y'all don't come here with a mindset of we're all black. And for the record, too, can we get one thing straight in 2024? And I think I'm going to land on this and just pretty much yell. The definition of black in the context Negroes use it, there's nothing to do with skin color, yo. That has nothing to do with the color at all. Because none of us here are the color of what we say or define color-wise as black on a predominant color with. You know what I'm saying? We say that because our history, anything connected to Africa is unknown. So if most folks consider us from Africa or descendants from Africans, you know what I'm saying? Where's our village and all this other stuff at over in Africa? So when we say we're black, we mean unknown. You know what I'm saying? You see that? So and this is just not just to you up here, it's for black people in general to get that right. Because that's the funniest thing ever Godfrey actually ever did. And that's a Haitian brother. I know black probably on Dominican, because y'all really be saying that stuff. You know what I'm saying? Y'all delineated from us from the moment y'all landed on this joke. This Plymouth Rock. This Plymouth Rock right here. So all of us ain't from the motherland. All of us ain't from the Caribbean. And wherever your ethnicity is at this point in the modern era, that's only because post-Civil War. You know what I'm saying? You're from where you're from post-Civil War. So you ain't going to call yourself an African. That don't make sense. You know what I'm saying? We on the continent of North America, so we can say we're Americans. But for y'all to say y'all Africans, nah, y'all don't even say that when y'all come over here. Y'all say I'm Caribbean, I'm Dominican, I'm Congolese, I'm Nigerian. Oh no, we don't mess with them South Africans. That's what y'all be saying. You know what I'm saying? Oh no, us Trinidad and Tobago, we don't deal with Jamaicans. That's what they be saying. You know what I'm saying? Why is CARICOM so upset at black Americans that we're delineating actually for cash payments? But Narcan and Cobra been down with CARICOM for 40, 50 years. He ain't even got a legislation passed, yo. It's sad, yo. I done met a lot of folks from the diaspora that say, hey, we are really jealous of you black Americans. But I meet a lot more that say, hey, we're waiting on y'all to make the move so we know what to do. So that's pretty much what a P is saying as well. They're waiting on us to go in there, get in there, get the first couple hits, we the pawns, you know what I'm saying, on the chessboard, and they'll come in like the crows and just scoop up all the crumbs. You know what I'm saying? That's all this is, yo. So I'm not saying who to tell you who to mess with in life, you know what I mean? I got some South African artists I deal with. I got some Jamaican neighbors I'll be smoking a yard molly with, you know what I'm saying? Blood of mercy, you know what I mean? But at the end of the day, even they know, you know what I mean? When it comes to being black in America, it's only one ethnicity group of people, and that's pretty much the Negroes you see here in this room. So it ain't no disrespect to you as a person, and it ain't really no disrespect to Shay when people talk bad about you in any weird way. We don't look at that as talking bad. That's just talking ish. but can you stand it? You feel what I'm saying? Because a lot of y'all diaspora folks, y'all don't know what the difference is between someone joking with you and being serious. You know what I'm saying? This is just joke shit because we don't see, excuse my French, we don't see each other across the actual airwave. We looking at avatars, bro. So get your jokes up. You know, no hard feelings. It's all fun and games up here. Because remember, family, the only tellers is those that are against our reparations claim. There you go.
Okay, I see Miss D came up here. Miss D was getting ready to close it out, so I'm gonna let you.
No, man, you can't go after me. I just gave that great speech.
I'm gonna let you get a little something in here, about a minute or so, and then we're gonna get ready to close it out for the night. But go ahead, Miss D.
Shout out to California so we can get our fight for our lineage back. Shout out to Mark Carter for fighting for Chicago. Shout out to Greg Abbott for trying to take our country back. Shout out to America. Let's make this country great again. Let's take our country back from everybody. And shout out to every city, to every state that's fighting, trying to get their city back, their state back, and helping get this country back. And shout out to our lineage based in California. That's all I wanted to say.
All right, and shout out to you, Miss D, for coming up in the space tonight as well, too. And shout out to all y'all up in the space tonight as well, too. So we definitely appreciate it. This was the only space that we did this week, guys. I've been ultra busy doing other stuff as well, too. So, Aunt Lai, did you put a thumb down? Did you put a thumb down, Aunt Lai? Okay. Maybe that was an accident. Maybe you meant to put a thumbs up, but I saw the thumbs down. But okay, Aunt Lai. But yeah, this was the only space we did this week. So shout out to everybody up in the space, guys.
That's all it was. She mad because we ain't do no other spaces. It's okay.
But definitely, guys, we appreciate you all once again, and I'm glad to have everybody up in the space, guys. Tweet those comments out. Tweet those articles out. They're up in the jumbotron on the right hand side. Definitely tweet them out or whatever. Now here come Aunt Lai. Now I'm gonna go ahead. I'm gonna let you up here, Aunt Lai, because I saw the thumb down, so I know that had to be a mistake. But go ahead, Aunt Lai, real quick.
Peace, Black Power, reparations. No, I did it on purpose. What I was saying was I just I missed a lot of the conversation. And then when I came in, it was on an attack, so I was just listening. But I just want people to be very, very mindful of what's going on in regards to the border and how the governor of Texas was the one, because we really need to see what party he is, because he was the one who was shipping immigrants all over this country. Now he's acting like he has an issue with it and he has a problem with it. No, they wouldn't have known where Chicago was. They wouldn't know where New York was. They made sure that they got certain people in certain places, and then now they want to complain about it. No, homeboy, you could have just you at the border of Texas. You could have took that bus and shipped it right back on to Mexico. But instead of you doing that, you shipped it to our inner cities to make sure that they stayed here. Now you want to sit here and say you have a problem with. You don't have a problem with the Republicans are excellent at propaganda and making stuff up. And I don't know how people fall for that, because ain't no way you sitting there telling me you Texas, you spending all this taxpayer money on chartering buses to send them to the inner city of Chicago and New York and quote unquote these sanctuary cities, but you're not handling your business and stopping it right then and there. Because when they came to New Jersey, they was in Edison, you know, they racist or whatever. That motherfucker shipped them right back on, got them out the highway.
Watch the MF.
Oh, I'm sorry, I was trying to whisper. But that's how you do it. Don't ship them into the country, because if y'all think they're going to get into these schools, they're getting this money, they're getting all this stuff, and then all of a sudden, when this orange dude, quote unquote, becomes whatever the molester in chief, that now he's going to get rid of them. No, but when he's setting them up, they're going to be here for 2-3 years. They're not going to get rid of them. It's a game. The fact that people fall for this is beyond me. You know, and I really wish people would open their minds and think he is literally sending them all over to the inner cities. So if these inner cities are saying, okay, we want closed border candidates, ain't no closed border candidates. The candidates you got is the ones shipping them to you. These people don't know how to spell Chicago.
Well,
And with the truth be told,
lie that
I know off topic, and I'm gonna hurry up real quick.
not always off topic, but we about to get ready to close it down. So
Yeah,
I'm gonna give you.
I'm gonna land my boat.
Yeah, land it.
But it's just the fact that like people need to see what's happening instead of saying what people. They're saying words that no, this is not what we're doing. This is who we are, but they're doing the total opposite. And I hate it that my people, black people, be falling for it. Like these are the ones to be with. Like no, read a book. Hooked on phonics work for me. I'm gonna dock my boat and fold my chair.
All right.
Shout out to Greg Abbott once again.
All right. So I appreciate you coming up here. Aunt Live, Miss D towards the end, guys. Shout out to y'all coming in here. On that note, we finna get ready to close the space out, guys. So we'll see y'all next week. Have a good weekend. Everybody be safe. Peace.
Peace. Come Aquaman over in the next space on live. Aquaman swim over. Yep.